How you doing, YouTube? Just giving you a little status update on the prototype. It's been so cold outside that I haven't been able to really do any kind of meaningful body work or really work on the frame. I haven't been able to sandblast it. So instead of just kind of wasting time as I've been, I started putting the Model 8 motor together. What I've done thus far is I put the valves, the springs, the keepers, the retainers, the lifters, the NOS camshaft and pin, and I've put the NOS crankshaft in place. As you can tell, there's the valves and the springs. I'm going to use some real professional lighting here. I'm actually going to turn a flashlight on. Don't laugh. But as you can see, all that is in there. Everything just went right together, real nice. Here's the crankshaft's in. Don't think from this one, maybe I might be able to zoom in and we can take a look inside there somewhat. And I think you can just barely make out that the timing marks are in place. So let's see, let's spin this around. There's the crankshaft. You can actually just barely make out there's an 8 right there. Let's see if I can, maybe I can move the light a little bit. There's an 8 right there stamped into the crankshaft, which is kind of cool. So it really tells you that it is a Model 8 crankshaft. Here's the pin. The pin is in place. That's the cam pin. It's press fit into this end. It passes through on the bearing plate side right here. That's why there's a brand new Welch plug, they call it, put in there. Some of the things I do that I like to do that I've had pretty good luck with these little engines is I make sure obviously everything is stupid clean. I mean, it's got to be like ridiculously clean. That's what I like to do. I use white grease or lithium grease on the cam lobes when I put engines together. Basically, I put a little touch of white grease on the top of the lifters where they contact the bottom of the valves. The valve clearance has obviously already been set. Assembly lube, regular engine assembly lube, the living you-know-who, out of the cam pin, I put it on the side, on the valve stems. I put it on the lifter stems also. Another thing I like to do is the Babbitt bearings, or the bearings themselves, coat it with assembly lube. Now, what I'm going to do with this engine right now is this engine is pretty much going to be put all together without the bearing plate. I'm not going to put the bearing plate on, and the reason for that is this. I know there's a crankshaft end plate that I got to set, but I want to paint the block without the bearing plate in place. And the reason for that is I want to keep the bearing plate raw. I want it to be raw aluminum. The head I want is raw aluminum also, so that way it gives nice contrast. Also the governor gear housing, that's going to be raw aluminum. Gives a lot of nice contrast, really makes the engine bling out. And then there's a couple other brass pieces that are factory that are supposed to be black, but they're going to be cleaned and just left brass. That way the engine has a lot of bling, a lot of nice look to it. One other thing I like to do is tape this all off, paint the engine, and then put the grease seal in. That way you see the grease seal. Gives a nice contrast, a lot of differentiation, gives a little bit more extra to it. Alright, well, there'll be some more progress. Thank you very much, and hopefully you like this. It's coming along, slow but sure. The piston's next. I'm going to have that done in the next couple days. It's actually right there. So we'll get that put together and we'll get it all together. Oh, whoopsie daisy. One thing we got to do is I got to get the dipper off the old one. Once I get the dipper off the old one, then we're fine. Then this is the little breather that goes inside there. That needs to be cleaned up. But coming along. The engine's going to be done very soon and hopefully painted. Alright, thank you very much. Bye.